If you're going to max out your life, it's one more. And so it's one more phone call, one more I love you to my children, one more reach out to one of my friends, one more rep in the gym.
Great lie in life is that, some scriptures say, well, where there's no vision, the people will perish. Whatever your scriptures are. Really, do you have no vision? If you ask the average person, you want to be happy or sad, what's your vision? They'd say, I want to be happy. You want to be rich or poor? Most people say, I'd like to be rich. Do you want to contribute or make no difference in the world? I want to contribute. Do you want beautiful memories or no memories? I want memories. So there's a vision. Our issue is depth perception. We think it's further away than it is. And because we think it's so far away, Jay, we create patterns and behaviors in our life that perpetually keep it there. And that's what we do in our life. But what if that's the great lie of life? And what if the truth is you're one relationship away, one meeting away, one conversation, one podcast, one interview, one new thought, one new emotion, one new tactic or strategy away from completely changing the trajectory of your life. Everyone that you and I know that we both work with, that we're blessed to work with in our lives, the truth is it was one decision, one meeting, one extra rep, one more phone call, one thing they did that changed their trajectory. Then the question then becomes, how do I do it? And so the strategies are in the book, but conceptually, that's 100% how you change your life.
I have this adage in my life where I just always do one more. And ironically, I've linked my self-confidence to keeping that one promise. Because I think self-confidence is the process of keeping promises you make to yourself. And that's a promise I can control. I can make one more text to a friend at night. I can tell my wife one more time I love her before we go to sleep. I can walk in one more time and do my prayers and meditation with my daughter. And that one more in my life has sort of become part of my identity. I have this weird thing in my mind that I think that if I'm willing to do things most people aren't willing to do, perhaps I can produce results that are uncommon for most people. Yes. And that's the one more.
One of the things that's a really nuanced thing in life, it's great to have goals. You should have goals. I want to do this or that. But in the moment of execution, you have to separate from outcome in the moment that you're executing and just be present and exist. I talk about this in the book. Here's what I would say, if you're going to win long term, 95% of people have an operating system in their mind where they operate out of history and memory. 5% of humans operate out of vision and imagination. So the reason we're so much happier, I believe, when we're children is we have no history and memory. So we operate out of imagination and dreams and vision. At some age, some people it's 5 years old, some it's 8, some it's 18, some it's 28. You create a history, and that history then becomes the operating system. So even if they take on a new behavior or tactic, they're operating out of a pattern of thought and belief that's historic and memory-based. And so the number one thing I would say is begin to operate out of your imagination again, out of your vision again. Create from that place. If you create from that place, now you're not tied to the result in that moment. You're giving yourself space to imagine and create something new in your life. First business I built was a financial business, and I had some success, Jay, like a lot of people do in life, and then it went backwards. And sometimes when you get up the flagpole just a little bit, you come back down. That's an emotional difficulty. It could be a relationship that was good that's gone, or maybe you saved some money, it's gone. Maybe you lost a bunch of weight and got fit and you gained it back. For me, it was my business. And I called my dad. He was a pretty wise guy now that he was sober. And because I could tell you, man, I'd do one more rep in the gym. I haven't done 10 reps on a bench press in 30 years. I've done 10 plus one more a lot. I haven't done 45 minutes on a treadmill, but I've done 45 plus one more minute. In contacts a day, never. 10 plus one more. But the biggest one more was actually something else. I called my dad and I said, hey, Dad, it's not going. The business is crashing and I'm running out of money. Our power was turned off. Our water was turned off. I had to take my wife every morning. We'd lost our house, living in an apartment now. Then the water got turned off. You can't cook, you can't bathe. There was an apartment building. We had an outdoor shower at the swimming pool. And we were newlyweds, and I'd have to get up every morning, walk down there, and I'd hold a towel up while my wife took her shower every day outdoors and brushed her teeth. And then she'd switch and hold the towel up for me. And I'd walk back up to the apartment, and I was so emasculated, so ashamed, so embarrassed, and was living a nightmare, selling a dream to everybody every day. We can do this. A lot of entrepreneurs or people can relate in their life. And anyway, I called my dad that night, and I said, I think I need to pack it in. I need to go get a job, and this success thing is not for people like us. My dad goes, Eddie, you don't have to decide you're never gonna quit. He goes, just don't quit for one more day. See how you feel tomorrow. I go, Dad, he goes, just don't do it for one more day. I got up the next day and I still wanted to quit, but not quite as much. Then I went one more day, and I found myself about 30 days later, I didn't want to quit anymore. Thank God the one more I did was, I went one more day without quitting. And I'm so grateful I didn't quit on my dream. If you have an alcoholic dad or a drug addict, or maybe you come from divorce, or maybe your parents just didn't love you enough, whatever it was, didn't tell you they loved you enough. It's hard to have self-confidence. I was a little guy, I got bullied in school, and and even at this age now, bro, if I'm being completely honest, self-confidence, we all teach that it's, part of keeping the promises you make to yourself. But what if you raise the standard a little higher? You keep the promises you make to yourself, plus one more. Because for me, self-confidence didn't come easy. I think in life, ultimately you're gonna get what you believe you deserve. And if you're wired like me, I didn't think I deserved a lot. I didn't even have a dad who could stop drinking, right? I wasn't 6'4". I don't have an incredibly high IQ. There's nothing really that impressive about me, nor were people very impressed with me most of my life. So that was my pattern. That was my history. That was my memory. So I could wait around until I developed tremendous self-confidence, or I could begin to do things every day that were small. They're not major. And over time, when I did those one more calls, that one more meeting, that one more book I read, that one more podcast, not only am I doing more reps, so the likelihood of me being successful is bigger, I started to convince myself I'm doing things other people aren't willing to do. Maybe I deserve things other people aren't gonna get. And slowly but surely, I started to convince myself I did deserve it based on what I was doing, not necessarily the caliber of my talent. One thing I think we also want is an immediate result. I went to a birthday party as I was writing the book, and it was for a young boy, and they had a piñata. We've all been to especially living in California, the piñata. And so what they did is they took each of these little guys, they blindfolded them and spun them around, and they're all dizzy and they're swinging, and they're not even near the piñata. That's life. A lot of times you feel like, man, I'm blind. I don't even know where I'm swinging right now, but I'm swinging. And so each kid hit the piñata, and the candy didn't come out. And so they take the blindfold off. That kid got tired. The next little boy came up, spun him around. So like 7 of them hit this piñata. No candy came out. The last boy, the smallest boy, the youngest boy there, they throw the blindfold on him. They spin him around. He's swinging too. That's life. You just sort of swinging, right? They finally point him at the piñata. He hits the piñata just once. Man, all the candy comes. All the kids jump on and celebrate. I'm watching that and I'm going, now who broke the piñata? Was it the last shot? Or was it the cumulative blows of each of the shots on the piñata? Well, we all know the answer. It was the cumulative shots. Life's a lot like that, man. That we're taking shots, but we don't see any physical progress. But every one more we're doing is pounding progress. And in life, you have to be willing to buy into what is invisible progress. Most people quit on their dream, quit on their vision before the candy comes out. And what you and I didn't do is quit. We just kept swinging. And eventually the candy comes out. The candy could be your bliss, your joy, your financial success, your notoriety, your contribution. But most people are hitting the piñata of their life and there's no evidence it's working. But the truth is there's a pounding effect in life that if you keep hitting your life's piñata, if you'll stick around, there'll be some candy come out.
I watch very little television now. I keep aware of it, but I guard myself. So it's giving the digital influence to myself. The second thing I would say is I would ask myself, where do these people congregate? I'm not talking about wealth. I'm talking about where do people congregate that I could begin to become into their proximity. And so I'll be honest with you, one of the places that's been great for me in my life has been a gym. People think that's a very simple thing, but in my gym, people that are typically trying to care for their physique and their body care more about growth and proximity in their life. And so the gym's been great for me that way. Specificity is one of the rarest things I can get from people when I coach them. I don't know, why do you want to do it? Well, I want to be happy. Well, why do you want to do it? Because I want to be rich. Really? Like, what specifically is the reason? What's your specific, emotional, compelling reason to do something? For example, I am relatively fit, and it's not because I'm super disciplined. I'm a lazy person naturally. I have massive reasons which has caused me to create disciplines around me. When I was 30, I had a heart attack. Most people don't know this. I've not talked a lot about this. And I went and saw a remarkable doctor. I could have seen a normal doctor. What do? They give you the prescription, take your stat and do whatever and see ya. He got reasons. So what happens is you go do the scan, he does the scan, and you go to lunch. I'll never forget this. I literally ate a burrito at the lunch. That's how, after it. And I come back from the scan, there's nobody in the lobby, and the doctor comes in and he goes, I'm looking for Ed Mylett. I'm like, I'm Ed Mylett. He knew who I was. And he looks at the chart, and he looks back at me and goes, I can't believe those arteries are in that young of a body. I went, oh my gosh, what's in the scan? He's loading me up with reasons. So he gets back, listen to this, Jay. He says, he puts my chart down and he goes, do you have children? I said, yes. He says, do you have a daughter? I said, I do. He said, how old is she? And I said, she's a baby. He said, are you interested in walking her down the aisle on her wedding day? I went, what did you just say? He said, I want to know if you want to be there and walk your daughter down the aisle. Right? You don't talk to a dad about his daughter. You got my attention. I go, what the f is in that scan, man? And he goes, I want you to listen to me right now. If you don't change what you're doing, another man is walking your little baby girl down the aisle on her wedding day. Do you got it? I said, yes, sir, I do. And he goes, but if you listen to me and you do exactly what I tell you, be there for her wedding day. I'm telling you, brother, when I don't want to get out of bed in the morning and it's 5:15 and I've had a long night before, Bella's wedding day, Bella's wedding day, Bella's wedding day. Maybe 100 times a year, Bella's wedding day flies up. That's what gets my butt in the gym. My big specific reasons get me to take actions I otherwise wouldn't take. So what's your specific reasons for the things you want? And if you anchor and link those to them, you'll get the standards that you set for yourself. I had a pattern, Jay, in my life when I was young of anything I did wrong, any mistakes I made, I would carry that shame forward like kind of bags you carry around with you. I just was so hard on myself. So if I made a mistake there, or I wasn't completely truthful somewhere else, or I had hurt somebody, or I just failed, I started stacking all of it like bags that I carried. And I did get to the point in my life where I think that's what I thought I was worth. And if I could go back, I would tell myself that's not true, that you're special, that you were born to do something great in your life. If anyone listening to this has carried those bags, number one, you can decide to drop them at any moment. They're a figment of your imagination. You can drop those bags anytime you want. And if no one's told you in a while, remember, you were born to do something great with your life. There's a purpose for you. You're special. You're unique. You were born with 2, 3, 4, 5 super special gifts. They're yours. They may not be mine and yours. Maybe they're not great orators or they can't articulate, but they're nurturing skills, their faith skills, their intellect, their humor, their beauty, their touch, their concern. There's all kinds of skills that you need to identify in yourself, and you were given those skills to make a difference in the world, to do something great in small ways and big ways. I'll tell you one last thing. There's people that do huge things in life that never get credit. The person that recruited me into that financial company quit that company, right? And people say, well, what a failure. Because that person reached out to me, made a difference. I've gone on in my life to really reach millions of people. If that person didn't have that one act of kindness, that one generosity, that one, hey, I believe in you, you'd be good at this. They made a huge difference in their life through me. And without that seed they planted, there'd be no harvest. So we all are called to do something great. And I just want everyone to hear that today, no matter what bags you're carrying, you were born to do something great.